Good evening. How are you guys? Whoever you are. I, I wanted to turn on the camera today and just talk a little bit about gender for a second because I'm really into it at the moment. And I just watched this video about autism and gender identity, and it really spoke to me in a way that I've been trying to deal with for a while now. Gender has been confusing the hell out of me, like a lot, a lot. And I can take that back to when I first started listening to the Penumbra podcast, which if you haven't listened to the Penumbra podcast, please go listen to it. It's amazing. Anyway, one of the characters in the Penumbra podcast is this guy named Juno Steele. And in the first couple of episodes, he says like jokey things about like being a lady, and then he stops it stops being a joke. It just becomes like he's a lady. He identifies as a lady. A lady does his own thing. Like he's a lady, but he also goes by he him pronouns. He's a lady. And you have like these, I don't know, the people who create the show, they have like their own little like podcast talking about the show, and they were just talking about how we had started it off as a joke, and then one of the people realized that they're non-binary, and so she was like, well, why does this have to be a joke? Maybe we could just make it not a joke. And it was suddenly like, oh yeah, of course. Like he just he calls himself a lady, like that's all. No big deal. and and suddenly I was like, oh, so it doesn't have to be a joke. And that's when I first started like thinking about my gender identity. Because growing up, I had I was considered a tomboy. I shopped in the boys section for a really long time, and I wore like I didn't really like dresses. Um, I still don't really like dresses unless I'm like dressing up for an event. Like if I know I'm gonna go out and I want people to see me in a dress, then I will go. But I won't wear a dress for like comfort. I don't find them comfortable. I need pants. I need pants desperately. So and honestly, if you could just cover my whole body and stuff, like right now I've got a sweater, and then I got a t-shirt underneath the sweater. I got pants and socks. And yeah, like if this sweater had a hood, I'd have that hood on right now. Like literally, I love being like super cuddly. I love having like just warm. I just love being warm and like covered. Like nobody see me. And so anyway, ever since I started listening to that podcast, I've been thinking a lot about gender and my own gender identity. Um, and so I've been watching a lot of trans things because I thought, let's see what other people are dealing with when it comes to their gender identity, and see if I can relate for any reason, like, and sometimes the non-binary stuff does actually make a lot of sense, but I've never been a boy. I never thought of myself as a man, you know. But the other thing is I don't know. Growing up, I had a sister, a little sister, and so she was very girly. She liked the girly things. She liked doing her hair and doing her makeup and doing her nails. Like I can't stand people who do their nails. It's God. I can't even watch it. I can't even watch people do their nails. Like I had like in school, like people would do highlighter on their nails. Like they would just take a pen and they write on themselves and write on their nails, and it's like, oh my god, please do not do that in my company, please. It's just, it weirded me out, and I was like, please don't do that. I still don't really like makeup. I wear like very basic foundation when I'm having a bad like skin day, and I do like my eyes sometimes, but not mascara, because I tried mascara once and I freaking cried my freaking eyes out. It was awful. I hated it so much. And I refuse to ever try it again, ever. But I'll do like, I don't know, like, what do you call that? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. These are just things that I've been thinking about lately for like the past couple of months. Going back to what happened when I was a child and what I still think about to this day. And but I just watched this video about she's an autistic girl. I don't remember her channel's name now. It was just a random video. But she was talking about how she did similar things, and she's autistic, and it took her a long time to realize like that she's settled in her cisgenderness of being a female. And I was like, oh, thank you, somebody, because I wasn't understanding all of the trans stuff. It was nice to hear because it kind of validated some things, but not everything. And like, so I had been trying to figure it out, and I feel like her thoughts on being autistic and not finding, being more like a tomboy, like, because tomboy is not really like a word that we use anymore, but liking boy things. And because I feel like boys have like this freedom to like things. They like objects. They like outside of themselves. They don't like the things on themselves. Like, they don't care what t-shirt they wear or whatever. And I'm not saying all boys, but I'm saying like they have more of a freedom to not care about how they look and how they present themselves. Where women, and that's why autistic girls have such a hard time being diagnosed, or because we mask so hard, because we have to in order to fit in, otherwise we're freaking weirdos. And so yeah, like I would take on the tomboy persona because I didn't want to be a girly girl, because I didn't like those girly things. Like I didn't like dressing myself. I didn't like making myself pretty. I wanted like other things outside of myself to be pretty. So that's why my room was like, my room was always tidy. I like never had my room be like awful looking. If it was, then I'd spend a whole day cleaning it, because it's like, okay, Rachel, you're done with that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not making any sense, but I've been thinking about gender so much, and it was so validating to hear that maybe I'm having issues with my gender identity because I'm autistic. And it's okay. It's okay to not actually think you're trans in any way, like even non-binary. Because I like my name. It's not like I want to change my name. It's not like I want to change my body in any way. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, do I wish I had smaller boobs? Yes. That's just because they're annoying and I don't like them. And yeah, I like the fashion of like small boobed people. Like, I feel like they can just throw on a t-shirt and leave the house and look beautiful, and I wish I could do that because it's just so easy. It's just so easy to me, and I can't do that most of the time, where I'm trying to be better about doing it anyway, just because, like, who cares what other people think? But like, yeah, I don't know. It's not professional. It's not societally good to just throw on a t-shirt when you have big boobs. Like, you're gonna look like a schlub, and I don't want to look like a schlub. I want people to still think that I look nice. I don't know. So that's why I'm trying to like figure out a fashion sense that actually works for me and works for what I actually want to look like. And most of the time that's just oversized t-shirts and oversized sweaters. And yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna like continue on that path, I think. I think I found like my comfort level when it comes to clothes, which I didn't have before. And I would always like, because I owned this certain shirt, I'd have to put it on at least once a month and just take it immediately off. And so I had all these shirts that I would just constantly try and like stare at myself in the mirror and I go, no, no. And then I would take it off, but instead of folding it back up and putting it in the thing or throwing it away or sticking it in a bag to be sent to, I don't know, like some charity shop, like instead it just got strewn about my room. And then I have just like clothes that I never wear, and now they're just like strewn about my room all over the place. It was getting ridiculous. So I'm really hoping that I would just have less clothes in general, less choice in the matter about what I wear and how I wear it. So I don't know. Anyway, I just want to talk about gender for a little bit because I think it's an interesting topic. I feel like a lot of people don't think about their gender, and that was me for a long time because I just assumed. And so I wanted to actually really think about my gender. And like after I realized that I was aromantic and that was a thing, and then thought about maybe that I'm probably asexual as well, I thought about all the individual parts of like a person, and like all the different queer things that you could possibly be, and to just consider them. Just consider them. It's funny. I talked about my sister about this a couple of months ago, and I said that I had to write down my characteristics. So I spent the whole day going over my individual, like, who am I? Like, who am I? So I wrote, like, at the top I was like, I'm Rachel, and then I was like, I'm a person, okay, and then I was like, I'm a female. And I was like, but am I? So I really had to think about it. And I was like, no, female. I still consider myself female. I have, unfortunately, a period and stuff like that, and I just never felt male. And so maybe I could be non-binary, but that doesn't really work for me either. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe. It's still confusing, but yeah. So I just like I kept like going down the list, and I was like, I'm aromantic. I'm asexual. I like, I was just like going down the list of like all my individual like things. And I'm telling my sister that this is what I did. And she was like, oh, when you first brought that up, I thought you were talking about like, I'm creative. I'm, like adjectives about yourself, not like who you are as a person. And it's like, yeah, she never had to like consider that. And I wonder if like just taking your time to consider it for a second would be beneficial to a lot of people out there. Just to consider it. Like you don't have to change anything about yourself. You don't have to change any labels that you consider. But just consider it. Just consider it for a second. And I feel in a really good place now. I feel like I am female. I feel very female now. And I feel like all these things that I thought would make me non-binary, or I consider to be non-binary, I just don't. I no longer feel like I have to try, have to really think about it and stuff like that, and that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better about my identity as a female, as a girl. I mean, girl is hard because, and woman, I don't like those words, and I prefer like gender neutral terms when it comes to like I hated it when people like do like a female version of a quote unquote male like nickname. Like I hate it when like dude became dudette. Like, don't call me dudette. Fuck you. I want to be dude. Why can't I be dude? I love being dude. I use dude all the time. If people call me dude or guy, like I'm a guy. Like, hey guys. Like I don't want to be a gal. Oh, I hate gal. Gal is awful. I'm not a fan of girl, and I'm not a fan of woman. I can identify as female. I do. I identify as female. but I don't really identify as woman or girl because they weird me out. I don't like them. I don't know. This cup looks blank, but it actually does have like a thing on the other side. I just noticed that. Anyway, that's I think my video for today. I might talk about a little bit more because, it's only 15 minutes in. I've got plenty of time. Let's see, what else can we talk about that I thought about today? I'm reading that psychology book that I was talking about a couple of videos ago that PewDiePie is like having us or is reading, and we're all going to talk about it, I guess. So it's interesting. It's a little old-fashioned. There's a lot of like black people are dumb and women are dumb. So it's mostly about man, but I can just like kind of like just equate man as people, which is kind of people. Man is kind of people, but I feel like the author really thinks it's just for men. Like the only person reading this is a man, and it's just like, that's not true. That's not true anymore. Like maybe in the 1800s, there was a bunch of, just men reading it. No women were reading your German book or whatever. But it's called The Wisdom of Life, by the way. But it's interesting. Some of the things are actually interesting. I've highlighted a couple of things, which I'm sure I'll talk about in a future video once I'm actually done with the book. But, I think one of the things that I highlighted was like a tree can't thrive unless it's shaken by the wind. I thought that was beautiful. I was like, oh yeah, you gotta keep moving. You gotta, even if you're stationary, you gotta still move, and you gotta still be thinking and still be learning and still be enjoying life, and then you can thrive and you could just enjoy things. So the other quote that I highlighted was about cheer. It was like, when cheerfulness comes around, you grab onto it, because cheer doesn't come at inopportune times. It only comes when there's an opportunity available, and you grab it and you just enjoy those things. And I thought, oh, that's beautiful. And so, yeah. Anyway, I'll probably talk more about the book later at a different point once I actually finish the book, and I'll have the actual quotes here in front of me instead of just like talking random shit. But yeah, I've got a couple of ideas actually for this channel. Now that I'm kind of slowly coming out of my depression, and I have other things I want to talk about. I've got like different like series of videos that I kind of want to try, and so we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I think this is like a new thing where I just sit down and film a video. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as I film one video a day. It's just gonna, I feel like it's gonna work. It's gonna make me feel better. It's gonna make me have like a time to actually sit down and just talk to myself and just figure out what I'm thinking about. And if it doesn't make any sense, then it doesn't make any sense. But that's fine. That's fine. It's just 20 minutes of my day to just sit here in front of a camera and just talk about the things that I want to talk about. So, yeah. I think I'm really good now. It's not going to say I'm like going to stay good forever, but I don't know. There's something about my life right now that's just very relieving. I feel relieved in a way. And maybe it was just yesterday going over to my sister's and airing my grievances to somebody who can actually talk back and say, hey, no, you're being silly. Just calm down. Like, I'm not telling you to calm down in like a derogatory way. Like, calm down, Rachel. She's more like, hey, just breathe in for a second and realize that you're doing amazing. And that was really nice to hear. It was really nice to hear, because I'm having a difficulty with the future and realizing that I'm not sure what I want for that future because I want somebody to take care of me, but I also don't want anybody to take care of me. um, and I don't want to have to take care of anybody. So I would prefer to live the rest of my life on my own. But that's also scary because then the only person who's ever going to take care of me is me. And I was like, "Oh, okay. So I guess I'm working for a long time and there's no time where I'm just going to be like, "Okay, I'm done working now." I guess I probably could if I saved up enough money, I probably could. Or if I suddenly made a bunch of money somehow. I don't know how that would happen. Uh, me and my sister joked. We were like, "What if we did an OnlyFans?" It's probably not that as easy as they make it seem, as these sex workers make it seem. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. Anyway, I just got a notice that my battery is at 15%, and so I'm probably gonna go now. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day.